Hi, and welcome to Biztech's APAC Cybersecurity Show. Every week, we update the region on the latest threats and incidences to help you protect yourselves better. Today, the show focuses on cybersecurity landscape in Japan. Now, where we have Mihoko Matsubara, she's the Chief Cybersecurity Strategist at NTT Corporation. And joining me, Brian Fernandez and my regular co-host Benjamin Ang, the Head of Cyber and Homeland Defence at the Center of Excellence for the National Security at the Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. Ben and Mihoko, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Brian. Good to be
Thank
here.
you.
Now, for a start, Mihoko, we have news that the port of Nagoya, which is Japan's largest port, has been hit by a ransomware attack. What do we know about this?
So what happened was that the port of Nagoya, Japan's largest port by total cargo throughput, was hit by a ransomware attack on July 4 morning. So their IT systems to control cargo container shipping was infected with one of the ransomware types, Lockbit. The Port Association found around 100 ransom notes are printed out on July 4 morning. And the name of the ransomware group, Lockbit, was on those documents. So they first expected to restore the IT system by 6 p.m. local time on July 5 next day. However, they later found out that the server to store backup data was also infected. So it took longer to restore the backup data and also the IT system, but they were finally restarted to running an IT system at 5:30 a.m. on July 6 and restarted cargo shipping partially at 3 p.m. and on a full scale at 6:15 p.m. on July 6. So it means that they restored the IT systems and the business operations 2 days later. So I thought that they went well for restoration under this circumstance.
I'm pretty impressed because in other critical infrastructure situations, it could take more days or even a week or two for this to happen, especially in the maritime space. So it sounds pretty alarming that even the backups were affected. Is this something that we're seeing more of in ransomware cases?
So the ransomware attackers tend to give extra pressures these days. So traditionally, ransomware attackers only tries to encrypt your data or IT systems to paralyze your business operations, to give you pressures to pay a ransom by a certain date. But now they started to deploy a new method called double extortion or even triple extortions. So they steal data from your IT systems and post that data partially on the dark webs. So now pressure the victims to say that, oh, if you don't pay a ransom by this date, then we will release all the data online. Or they sometimes use the stolen data to reach out to your customers or business partners to say, like, hey, actually, you have your data. So please give a call to company A or company B to pay your ransoms. So that it means that the victims are under triple or double pressures to give money to restore your business operations or also to keep your data safe. That's the method
really,
that those attackers deploy these days.
that's really alarming. And
Yes.
is ransomware the most the significant cyber threat for Japanese businesses? What's the landscape like?
So the Japanese National Police Agency annually publishes the statistics of the different types of cyber attacks. And in fact, that the number of ransomware attacks reported to the Japanese police has been increasing over the last few years. And they also started to notice that ransomware attackers are not only attacking major companies, but also started to attack small and medium-sized companies.
So, Mihoko,
That's a very important point, yeah. Oh, sorry, Brian.
Yeah, I was going to ask the question around Mihoko, which says that interestingly enough, they're starting to go for smaller companies as well.
Mm.
But one of the things that I've read, and Mihoko, you can confirm this, is on a consumer level, the average Japanese consumer is probably a lot more aware about cybersecurity than, say, other parts of Southeast Asia or APAC region. Is that the case? And if so, why is that?
So I think that the reason why the Japanese people, on average, started to become more aware of cyber threats these days is after Tokyo was selected to host the Tokyo 2020 Summer Olympic and Paralympic Games, because the Olympic and Paralympic Games is not just about sports event. It is about the political important figures visiting your countries, and also accepting more tourists to welcome to your countries, and also to showcase all the different types of innovations. So it is a platforms of the tourism, political events, sports event, and also the different innovative technical uh, events. So that is why the Japanese, not only the Japanese government, but also the industries become aware the importance to raise the cybersecurity awareness, but also national cybersecurity capabilities by 2020, but also to use this momentum as a springboard to create a great ecosystem to cultivate cybersecurity professionals awareness, because cyber attacks will never stop in a certain point. We have to use a good, great, create a good ecosystem. And the 2020, actually, it was postponed due to the COVID, but for 1 year. But still, we were able to take advantage of it to create the great legacy.
I totally agree with what you said that cyber attacks are not going to stop, and if
Unfortunately,
you have
not.
a well, that keeps us in business, I suppose. But the if you get attacked by a ransomware gang like Lockbit, if it's actually Lockbit like it claims to be, then that's a very serious attacker. What kind of advice would you give to Japanese people who are going to be doing business in Japan, in how they can protect their businesses from ransomware, and also how they can respond if they get hit by ransomware, uh, since since it's kind of inevitable.
Sure. So the Lockbit, the attacker against the port of Nagoya this time has been the most active since 2020, and it was one of the most active ransomware attackers since last year. And they are known for various types of attack methods to deploy to attack different sizes of organizations, and also in different industrial sectors, from healthcare, transportations, schools, and also and other financial institutions too. And they also use not only exploiting vulnerabilities in remote desktop protocols, but also they use phishing emails. So it is crucial, again, to raise awareness of the importance of the basic cyber hygiene between your employees. But also, it is impossible these days to protect everything you have in your IT systems. So that is why you have to have a plan B. It means that you have to have an incident planning, and also that you have to do cyber exercise on a regular basis, including not only engineers, but also your communications team, C-suites, and legal team. And also that given that the ransomware attackers can hit any important critical infrastructure company, and that can also create a domino effects in the different critical infrastructure sectors. As we have already learned from the Colonial Pipeline incident and happened in May 2021. So it means that it is also, it may be in a great start for us to not only to do a cyber exercise on our own, but also to do cross-sectoral cyber exercise between different sectors like energy, finance, transportations, and etc.
Now, Mihoko, that's really, really interesting. I think one of the key takeaways I've just got from what you said was the fact that, and many companies don't do this, is really to have regular exercises and including not just the technical teams, but everyone from communication to all the employees, really. So, literally, as I think what Ben said earlier on, not just the technical responses, but the plan Bs as well.
Sure. And I'm so glad that my leadership at the NTT Corporation has been recognizing the crucialness to do this. So NTT, because it's one of the critical infrastructure companies based in Japan, so we've been doing cyber exercise with communications teams, because you never know that one day the journalist would call you up and say, hey, I heard that your company has been hit by a ransomware attack. So can you tell us what's happening? And usually communication team people are not cybersecurity experts, but still they have to deal with different types of risks, including cyber attacks these days. So that is why these cyber exercise is an important lesson to give for non-experts to learn about what's happening in a business environment these days, and what kind of responses they are required to do to explain and to be accountable for business people and other people as well.
Now, Ben, would you any final thoughts you'd like to add to what Mihoko just said before we end this edition of the APAC Cybersecurity Show?
I think Mihoko has really given us a lot of food for thought, and I hope that someday businesses will treat the cyber exercise just like they treat a fire drill, something that's going to be regular and necessary.
Mihoko, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored.
We've been speaking to Mihoko Matsubara. She's the Chief Cybersecurity Strategist at NTT Corporation, and Benjamin Ang, Head of Cyber and Homeland Defence at the Centre of Excellence for National Security at the Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. And this has been Biztech's APAC Cybersecurity Show. I'm Brian Fernandez. This interview will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Thanks a lot for tuning in.